Good evening, Patriots. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come on. I'm actually going to invite a few people. Okay. Trying to find Dunn, Ryan, Mclean. Okay. All right. I'm getting pretty good at this stuff. So, um, this show is another impromptu live introducing another one of our C3 members. This evening I'm bringing on Ryan Mclean. He's our Ontario Vice President, and we're going to hear a little bit about him. The guy's very active. He's been to many rallies. I met him for the first time July 14th in Ottawa. The guy's in it with both feet, a lot of heart, and a lot of motivation. He's a young parent. He's got kids. So he fears and worries about Canada's future in many respects, as most of us at C3 do. So you gotta, oh, hey, Randy. Randy's up. Randy works really early in the morning. We're going to be bringing Randy Lamirant. He just said, hey, Dan. We're going to be bringing him on. Okay, there. Okay, bring him on camera. Okay. I just sent an invite to Dunn, Ryan Mclean. We call him Ryan. Please. Right on. Awesome, bro.
Am I here? Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, you're on. You hear me and everything?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, good to see you again, brother. I haven't seen you face to face since Toronto a few weeks back.
Yeah, it's been it's been a while. Yeah, we've all been quite busy. We've all got side projects and stuff going on.
Yeah.
On top of work as well. You know, we're a lot. C3 is a busy group.
That's for sure. Like, I know that you're holding down a full-time job. You're a dad of young kids. You've got a wife. I know there's a lot on your plate, especially guys your age usually just can't seem to find the time to do everything you do. I should also add that Ryan is one of our techie masters. He's done videos for C3, very knowledgeable in the techie world on Facebook. So that's been kind of his specialty for the group.
Yeah, I'm learning as we go too. I came in knowing a little bit, but over the last couple months, I've learned quite a lot. I would like to do some more videos and bring on some more guests. So we're working on getting some of the best software for that. I know Duke Willis is working on the same things at the moment. So
Yeah,
it'd be
awesome.
nice to have a little better setup going here and get some great guest speakers coming on live with us.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, these short videos I'm making, it's basically because I feel that the nation and the patriots should meet all the wonderful and great people such as yourself that actually are collaborating with or are like yourself, are full members of C3. So tell us a bit about what you do if you want, your hobbies, that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm working about 48 hours a week roughly right now, but I mean, I'm parenting three kids with a lovely wife of mine, and all of my kids are almost in school except my youngest, so they're pretty busy with after school and whatnot, but I still work about 5 hours a day on, getting some videos ready, each night, slowly building and working on stuff, as well as doing some research and talking with other patriots, trying to plan rallies and whatnot. And as far as hobbies go at the moment,
No
really don't
time.
I really don't got much going on. I mean, yeah, I've been trying to line up a new job here. I mean, I had a fairly decent job, it just wasn't cutting it though. So I'm getting a better job hopefully here in the next week or so. My start date's on the 29th, and I'll have the whole weekend. So I got lots planned for this time off I got coming up, and a lot of videos that I've been trying to get through and start, and hopefully I'll be able to finish a bunch of stuff in the near future here, that I've been trying to work on for a couple months. But yeah, my hobbies are basically at this point video editing and researching, learning. Basically, I love to learn new anything really, anything that's interesting to me. A lot of mechanic stuff so far, and computer stuff in the last year or so. So it's been a lot of learning going on for me.
Ryan got the position of Vice President Ontario because I'll tell you something. If I saw a young man that really deserves the position, Ryan does. This guy gets on the bus, rides to Toronto, takes subways, pays for hotel rooms and pays for accommodations out of his own pocket, just to attend C3 events that we host and that we've attended. Like, I'll tell you, I've met Ryan a couple times, and what a great young guy. If his generation were to step up like he did, we'd have nothing to worry about. You know,
I
what do
hear
you
you
think
there.
about Trudeau kind of selling us out to the United Nations there? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I did an article on Native Born Canadian movement. I think it was in August, about a month or two ago, and I did a piece on the United Nations, and so along with that was about 2 weeks worth of research, and I gathered quite a bit, and I kind of already thought he sold us out a while ago, but I mean now it's all on the table. Um, it's all there for everybody to see now. So I mean, completely. I've heard some ridiculous numbers. I haven't got any solid evidence on some of these numbers on the people supposed to be coming through and that we're going to be helping. Um, but I mean, we're not helping our own people first off, and we're only going to keep bringing more people in to help when we can't even take care of the people we already have. So I mean, I I don't know what his plan is, but anyone with half a brain would, think that what he's doing is definitely wrong and has been for since he's been in. Nothing but wasted money and you name it, scandals and everything.
You know,
People
the
think Trump's
number,
bad.
yeah, the number of 240 million immigrants is thrown out there, but I don't think that's what's coming to Canada. That's what they're planning on displacing by the year 2030. They plan on moving 240 million people, I believe, and I'm not, don't quote me on this, but I think that's around the world. And one thing though that I know is that Canada has been named as one of the countries spearheading this mass immigration move. So believe me, um, I'm pretty darn sure that we're going to get far more than our fair share, of immigrants.
Well, I heard we're up to something like 2 million in the last 2 years. So, I mean, we're at about a million a year so far. So, we're going to get another million more by the end of 2019. That's a given.
And that doesn't count the what they call chain immigration, because the immigrant comes in, then he brings in his aunt, his uncle, his sister, nieces, nephews. Duke, that's the Duke. Hey, hey, that's the neighbor. Get over it. Get over it, Duke. You
Yeah.
know that when you count chain immigration, and if you count the fact that many of the Duke, that's enough. Uh, that they actually have, like, us, we have 1.3 or 1.4 kids. These people have no problem having 3, 4, 5 children. Some of their beliefs are to have more than one wife. So if you have 2, 3, 4 wives, you have 2, 3, 4 kids with all those wives. It won't take long that we're going to be overwhelmed, and that Canadian culture and true Canadian citizens, born and raised, will be a minority and second-class citizens in their own country. That's what I fear, and I fear that for my kids and my grandkids.
Yeah, I got a real problem. I mean, Trudeau keeps saying diversity, diversity is our strength. If we're being diverse and letting in immigrants, how come we're only letting them in from one country? There's all kinds of countries that need help right now, and we could be welcoming in these immigrants. Why aren't we? Why are we only taking them from one country if we're so diverse? How does that make us more diverse if we only take in one country, or
Yeah,
one
we've
race of people?
refused actually South Africans, I think.
I've heard Pakistani. They've cut off all Pakistani immigration as well.
Mhm. I'll tell you, that's the thing that I kind of like about Bernier, just to talk about him for a second, is that he doesn't like the United Nations. He feels that they're a
No,
joke.
he got out.
And, that's a big step in the right direction, to have somebody out there that finally admits, like Trump, that the United Nations isn't what it's supposed to be. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that if anything, they could be the cancer that ruins cultures around the world.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely get on board with a couple of things Bernier is saying, and he seems to be the voice of the people at the moment. For the most part, over 90% of the patriots, I would say at this point, are almost behind Bernier. And I would assume the other 10, such as myself, still don't know who to trust. I'd like to trust Bernier, but at this point, I can't. I believe he's still potentially a globalist.
Well, he's said that he wants to have free trade with China. I don't like that idea. I think that what that does is that makes our industry actually move to China, because everything can be made cheaper in China. For us to compete with China, then we would have to make stuff cheap. And we all know that to make stuff cheap, it becomes the end product is cheap. You get what you pay for. I'm a big automotive guy, and we've seen parts from China are cheaper to buy, but they don't have the longevity of a part made in the US, a part made in Canada, and they're rare now because they've pretty well chased all industry out of our country. But I noticed even Japan parts are better than the Chinese parts. They use better metal, so parts are more resilient to wear and last longer. It's a given. You get what you pay for.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, our country, including America, I mean, are some of the biggest automotive producers and heavy mechanics and machinery producers. as well as refrigeration, you name it. I mean, when it comes to Canada and America, we're pretty smart fuckers. I mean, we've
Yeah,
created
yeah.
some of the best technology and equipment man's ever seen. And people like to say China and Japan and these other countries, they do really good too. I mean, the engineering and stuff is great. They do a lot of great technology work too. But I mean, Canada is, nothing to
Well,
be
we
second
are
guessing.
holding our own. Like before I forget, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the Canada arm on the shuttle, you know, um, that's something that was very technologically advanced, very useful in space advancement and study. And guess who got to build that? I mean, out of China and even Germany, we outbid them, you know. So it's not just a matter of outbidding, but they knew the quality of our work, and the U.S. wanted Canada to build that arm. You know, all these nuclear plants and stuff; those are all these nuclear plants are Canadian stuff. It's all to Canadian technology, most of it. And sure, there's been issues with some of the nuclear plants, but for the most part, it's a very safe means of producing power, you know, and that's Canadian. The can-do reactors, actually, is what they're called now that I think of it.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that, but yeah,
Yeah, around the world, bro.
we shouldn't sell
Can-do
ourselves
reactors
short.
are used around the world. Pardon me?
We shouldn't sell ourselves short. That's for sure. I mean, we've got a lot of really smart, hardworking individuals in this country, and I mean, people are hard waking up and realizing the reality of what's going on. But I mean, when the shit hits the fan, when our backs are up against the wall, I mean, we're gonna push back. All of us Canadians, when we finally wake up, um, if war ever does happen, it'll be a big one. I mean, a lot
Well,
of people, a lot of bloodshed, bullshit.
I fear that as well because we've raised our kids for generations now to turn the other cheek. We've raised our kids to be tolerant. We've raised our kids to be too accepting. And I'll tell you, direct proof of that is your Antifa and those guys. It's all young people,
Mm-hmm.
totally brainwashed with the globalist agenda. And because we've raised them to be so tolerant, they tolerate everything. So I think, and it's sad, but I think what I see right now, the apathy across Canada, you know, there's us guys that actually try to make a difference and actually get off our butts and try to do things to help the country. But for the most part, there's apathy everywhere. And that's even my generation. And this apathetic generation has raised a bunch of even more apathetic kids. So I fear that they're just going to let themselves run over. Listen, they've raised their kids to see bloodshed, death, and violence all their lives.
Yeah.
They've raised a couple generations to literally hate Americans, America, and our way of life. And they've witnessed murder. They've witnessed punishment so atrocious, people getting their hands cut off and what have you, that when you put those people fighting our kids, I think our kids are going to shit their pants when they see what these people are capable of. You know, they come over here and they start cutting peoples to ribbons with knives and swords and not even looking back. Our kids are just going to get like deer in the headlights. They're going to get stuck and they're not going to know what to do. And if it comes to that, and I sure hope it doesn't, I could see that if the numbers are even close to equally matched between Canadians resisting, let's say, Sharia law and those trying to bring on Sharia law, they'll win. They're more ruthless. They're more, they care more about their Sharia agenda than we do about defending such things as Christianity and stuff like that. I mean, it is what it is. These people are on a clear agenda and will do anything to accomplish this agenda, where we have limitations as what we will do to actually defend it.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
You know, scary, bud, scary. Like look at the movement. You're one of the few young people. There's
Oh,
you, there's Ron Cameron, there's Stephen Alexander Myatt.
yeah.
Um, there's not very many young people in the movement.
No, there's not. And that was one of the biggest things for me to come on, was to try and draw a younger crowd in and appeal to, their sense of what they would presume as reality, and try and educate some of these people, even some of these people that I've grown up with since a kid. I mean, completely different views on the world and what's really going on. And I mean, but they want to hear it. Some people do and are willing to hear it. And you see, when I go down to Toronto, and when we went to that Pagata protest, I had a guy there on the other side filming just to get a glimpse of what was going on. So for the most part, he was in the bystander crowds. And if you listen, he's probably got over 100 people on video camera saying, they don't understand what's going on. And, when some people point out facts and, saying what we patriots are doing and representing, and you see the other guys over there doing what Antifa does best. I mean, for the most part, they want to hear more. They're almost intrigued, but at a certain point, they don't want to get involved. And, that's the most scary part. Like you said, if they don't get involved when the time comes, they might, just freeze.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
have
that's
no idea what's coming.
like I'm saying, young guys your age, younger, minority. My son, that's why you don't see him do much on videos and stuff like that. He's teased by his friends. They tell him, your dad's nuts. I'll tell you, I do get a lot of support because if everybody said I was nuts, I'd start to believe it.
Oh shit, yeah, I get that.
Thank God there's a lot of support that doesn't think I'm crazy, and many believe what I believe. Um, I see that this mass immigration, free trade with China, if you look at these things, the pieces kind of fit together. It's about taking away our way of life and reducing Canada to a country like a third world country.
Mm-hmm.
It's about eroding the middle class, and by bringing in all these immigrations and burdening taxpayers and burdening Canada and its way of life, they may accomplish this. Uh,
Indoctrinate our
and
children.
well, yeah, there's another thing, the indoctrination of our kids to Sharia Muslim religion and the Islamic thing. We've got Canadian government actually funding Islamists. And let's be clear, they're not all radical, and they're not all extreme. Okay, I hate when people paint everybody with the same brush. They believe that all Muslims are bad, to the point where if you find one that is good, they say, well, that's the Kia. Right away they write that off as the Kia. There's a lot of narrow-minded people out there. I was speaking to one this morning. on
Oh, it was a
care.
mental illness.
Yeah. Well, that's a mental illness to be a liberal. But I was arguing with a TC supporter actually, and mid argument when I had more ammunition than the person did, I got blocked. And that's why I put out a post that when you're blocked mid debate, you've clearly won because that other person has no more ammunition and you're making a little too much sense. And their narrow mindedness
Yeah.
makes them refuse to open and listen. Listen, I'm old enough to admit when I'm wrong. I'm liking what Bernier is saying, Maxime. I like what he's saying, but I could do a complete 180 come voting time if things change, if his mandate changes, or if I hear things that I really dislike. At this point, I can't say he's the perfect candidate, but I believe he's the lesser of the four evils. So it pisses me off when people, division, division. Listen, let's not be divided. Let's be smart. Let's
Yeah.
analyze these politicians and their policies, and then pick the best one, and hope that the guy's not lying through his teeth like Trudeau did. Of course, they could be lying. Of course, this could be a big, conspiracy. Who knows? But you got to vote. You got to make a decision. If you don't vote, I don't want to hear your opinions. That's why I vote, so that I'm given a voice and an opinion.
People are going to hate me for saying this too, but if anything, we need more options. And what we need to do is get rid of the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party and the NDP Party. Get them the lower candidates on the list.
Yeah.
Get some real patriot group parties in there and fucking vote for them. That's what we need to do.
Well, an encouraging thing, and we all witnessed this. They threw the Libs right out of Ontario, and now they've been thrown out of Quebec. Like the silent majority is speaking, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you that's one of the things that keeps me ambitious, is that I see that even though the other parties probably aren't the best, they're throwing out the worst. And I gotta agree with what Stephen Garvey says is that they're part of a club, and the other parties that are trying to form together, they're not part of that club, so they're not privy to any
Well, it's attacked
advertising
by Faith
on
Goldie.
the
They don't
big
want her in there. She's
mainstream.
not part of the club. Neither is Kevin J. Johnson. They're not part of
Right.
the club. That's why they don't want to give them free ad or not free advertising, but any advertising period.
Yeah.
Either one of them, and they're paying people to tear down what signs they are getting up, and you know,
Let's talk.
throwing them out of the club. They don't want them to join the
Yeah.
club. They're basically,
Yeah.
this is my sandbox. Get out of here. This is where we play.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's talk about Faith Goldie. Let's talk about Faith
Awesome.
Goldie. I've
She's
met
she
Faith
was great.
Goldie a few times. You met Faith
I
Goldie.
met her once, and yeah, she was awesome.
Great, great patriot.
She's
Great.
everything everybody said she was.
Yep. She's, she's totally against this sanctuary status that Toronto has taken. She would abolish that. She would abolish Al-Quds Day, a terrible, terrible demonstration of hate that the police and Canadian, well, not so much Canadian government, but municipal Toronto government is allowing. There, you were there, at Al-Quds?
No, but
You didn't make
I've
Al-Quds,
seen
eh?
hours of footage from this year
Yeah,
alone and several hours of years previous.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's
filmed
gone
lots
now,
with
right?
you.
From what I've heard, Doug Ford said that was more. They weren't going to allow that to happen in 2019.
Yeah, well, I really hope Ford does that. I really hope Ford pushes this and makes this happen. Talk is cheap, eh?
Yeah.
You know, that's why we have to keep these people on guard and keep them accountable. When a politician, whether municipal, provincial, or federal, steps out of line, we got to jump all over it to expose it and to keep them accountable. You know, that's the only way of doing it. And I'll tell you, mainstream is not our friend. Mainstream news calls us, racists and Nazis because they have no legit argument against what we're trying to do. So they try to brandish us with these terrible labels that are totally false. It's total propaganda. And, a lot of people buy into it. I've lost friends in my own town here that they look at me as I'm a racist. They don't hear what I'm saying. They just made up their minds that I'm in a group, a political group, and that I oppose mass immigration. I oppose illegal immigrants. And to them, that makes me a hater and a racist. It's the
Well,
lamest
the
thing
definition
I've
of a
ever seen.
patriot is something like a person who loves his country and wants to preserve the land. And um, you don't see any of these people bashing on the mainstream media or any of these other groups bashing patriots, calling themselves patriots, right? So obviously, if you're not willing to label yourself as a lover of your country and you're lover of your great land and what have you, then why would you bother trying to argue with someone who is fighting for the freedom of your country and everything else? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So you
That's
kind
a
of just
good
got to
point.
brush it off, but there's so much of it going on and it doesn't stop. I guess to the point where some people can't handle it and they just, have to unplug. Some people won't watch TV or get on the internet. They can't handle all the bullshit.
There's a funny thing about human nature, and this is just an observation I've made. But when you believe something, you really want everybody else to believe that too. Because if they believe what you believe, it endorses you that you are on the right path and that you are believing the right thing. So if you can convince others to believe what you believe, it reinforces your belief that you're right and that everybody else is wrong. That's what Islam is about. That's what like this person I was arguing with this morning was about. This person really didn't want to hear my side of the point of view, totally closed-minded, and really wants others. Well, matter of fact, was part of the group and left of the group because this person said that the group is too much into Bernier. I said, well, stay with the group and fight for who you believe in.
Yeah.
You know, this was a Shear supporter. I said, well, keep posting the stuff for Shear. Show your side. Try to convince. This is a great forum that you're in. This is a great
Yeah.
group you're in. I got 3,200, almost 3,300 people that are probably, some of them anyways, are going to see your comments and maybe you're going to sway people on your side. Nope. This person decided to just leave C3, probably left the page. No, I'm done with you guys. And even said, yeah, and I noticed that if you're not white, you're not heard. My God, this is a C3 member, ex C3 member, that
Mm.
basically called us racists. And this is a person that's in a province led by a president that's Burmese and a vice president that's Burmese. I mean, the insanity of the conversation, once I left it, I was bewildered. I thought this person joined C3 because wanted to make a difference. And now I'm fighting with this person because, hey, we're not all on board with Shear. Had we all been on board with Shear, this person would have stayed with the group. But this is a person that if you don't believe what they believe, they want no part of you.
No.
And,
And a
and
big part of the
that's the
reason why
problem
I
with the
joined
whole
C3
world.
is the freedom. The freedom to believe, what you want to believe in too, or vote for who you want to vote for, and you can show your support without uh, in fear of people not agreeing with you. I mean, you get your point across, and that's it. Some people agree, some people don't. And that's the thing. And I've been a part of C3 for the better part of a year now. Commenting, posting in the last 6 months, but even before that, just going through the group, browsing, and I've never seen any racist stuff on there. People talking racist in the chat rooms. It's clean. And we've got a solid group of people here. And I mean, I wasn't so sure about posting some of that stuff with Scott Bachelor and me trying to start that new party. Um, but we were getting lots of members, and I figured it'd be a good time to, possibly get some more leaders on board with this thing, because that's what Canada needs right now, is some solid leadership. And I know we got a great bunch of people here in C3 who could potentially be leaders if they want and are able to. And some people who aren't sure about joining C3 that would definitely make some great leaders. And I know a couple of people my age even who said they're interested. They don't really want to get involved, but they're, leaning more and more
On the
towards
fence.
getting on board anyways. I mean, it's all we
Yeah.
talk about, either be it at work or, just hanging out. I mean, a lot of people my age, they're not stupid. They're smart people, but they can see some of the brainwashing and stuff going on, and it almost scares people away too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They start to realize how bad it is and say, well, I better not get involved at all. Like when we went down for our vigil there on that Sunday, and the news did a couple of pieces on us. When Global News interviewed me there for the 5 minutes or whatever, when I talked about immigration and
Yeah,
what we were
yeah.
doing, and I guess one of my supervisors at work saw me. So on first break there, when I went out on break, he says, "Oh, I seen you on the news." I said, "Oh crap, am I getting fired now?" I mean, it wasn't anything bad, but I mean, some people are so scared to even voice their opinion of being labeled and fired, harassed, you know, bullied. And so I was a little afraid of what he was going to think. And he said, "You know what?" He says, "It was good. You were great. You did awesome." I says, "Seriously?"
Mhm.
I was
Yeah,
like, wow.
yeah.
And the week before that, I had someone come up to me at work, and he says, "You're that guy who's doing those videos and stuff on Facebook and YouTube." I said, "Yeah, I'm starting to dabble a little bit." And he says, "You're awesome." He says, "Keep it up."
It
And
is.
that's great. You don't get that very often. And I mean, I live in a
Well,
small town.
that's how
I'm not
we're
that far
getting
up north, but
awareness. Yeah,
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 it's spreading. I mean, people are
yeah,
waking up. I mean, if people are following me, I can only imagine what some of who these other people that these new people are following.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a slow awakening, but hopefully, we're slowly getting there.
Yeah. Well, we're bringing on, I've been speaking to Barry Prince. He's going to come on with me one night.
Right.
He's actually probably going to be joining C3. He's out on the West Coast there. We need some people out there. We need some leaders out there. So I've been talking to him, and he likes the group. He likes what we do. We were on his show last week, and me and
Yeah,
Win. It
he's
was
got that
awesome.
group show
You
going
know,
on People's
yeah,
Network.
we made national news July 14th and 15th, right across Canada. We were on CP24 for our vigil on the Danforth. C3 is really moving forward and really shaking the movement. And it's because of guys like you and guys like Dan Unrun, Roger Rowan, and I can't name them all, but I'm going to try to bring, like I'm doing with Ryan here, I'm going to try to bring almost all the members on that want to come on so that the Patriots can meet these people and see who we are, what we're about. And I encourage people to go on our page and hit the About button at the top of the page. And that's our
Yeah,
mission statement. That's what we stand for. And I'll tell you, it's a very good mission statement. I'm
Yeah,
very
it's a
proud of
great
it.
mission statement.
I stand behind it 100%. I wouldn't change a word in it. And I really feel that that's what a true patriot is about. You know? Yeah.
No, it's great. Yeah, I definitely like to get some younger members on board. Like I had that
Mhm.
one guy come out with me on Sunday there, so he's starting to get involved and learning and researching some stuff. A couple other friends kind of getting interested. So I'm noticing a lot more friend requests from younger people too. So I mean
Oh,
that's
me
a
too.
good sign.
You should see all the hot chicks.
Oh yeah,
Unreal.
you
About
fucking.
about
Oh,
6 or 7 a day, man. I don't know what that's all about.
and they
I
all have the
refuse
same
all
profile.
day long. It's like, yeah, man, if I was 30 years younger. Yeah, and I don't think their friendship is sincere either, by the way. I don't think these are sincere requests, because I
No,
look and
a
they don't
lot of
have
them
any
are
mutual
spam
friends.
profiles. They're bot profiles. Facebook uses either to keep track of people or spread spam messages and get people's email accounts. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're fake accounts to lure people to add them for friend requests, and say they get like 5,000 friends. I mean that's good advertising.
Yeah, for
Easy
sure.
free
Yeah.
advertising. When you pay for these bots, you just basically add a profile of a hot chick and a younger. I get some really freaking weird ones. I mean, you can tell you don't know whether they're fake accounts or trolls or solicitors. Some accounts are hard to tell the difference, so I try and generally message people, and if they don't respond back, it's obviously not worth the friendship.
No, no.
So those
You
people
know
get
what?
deleted.
You have to deal with it with what it is, and I always describe Facebook as a monster. It's a monster on so many different levels. It can totally envelop you and take you over. You can get destroyed on there. You can get famous on there. You can get rich on there. You can lose everything you have because of Facebook. It's a monster. It really is. Look at the stuff that our big hater, our Albertan guy there, Ryan. Uh, how much he hates us and how he's always out there posting stuff, total fabrication and propaganda against us. Imagine if we didn't have people like that to worry about, and if that kind of behavior wasn't happening on Facebook, it could actually be a very good tool for the good. But
Yep.
even Facebook is been compromised, like our governments have been compromised,
Yep.
and there's a perverse cloud over all these things, and it's sad actually, but it really makes it difficult for good people to try to do good things when you got all these haters and all these corrupt people that are in the mix of it all.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, I didn't understand why I was getting so many friend requests there, and then you look further into it, and I mean, I kind of don't understand what some of this would be for and the purpose of it. But it's a tool, like you said. It's a tool for someone to do something, and but it gets dangerous on there, and
Yeah, it's a tool with two cutting edges. Yeah.
some of these people go on looking for young girls. Like it can be very a disturbing place. You know.
But I'll tell you, I really commend, and you really can't criticize people that are making a real effort to try to bring change to Canada. And those are guys like Harold Stewart with his Veterans Coalition Party,
Yeah.
guys like Stephen Darby, with his party. There's a bunch of them out there. There's a bunch of those parties out there, small parties that are trying to actually make a party, put a party together, coast
Mhm.
to coast, to take over these corrupt parties that already exist.
Exactly. Well,
And
and
so,
that's
like,
great.
they're
And we need
criticized, but
some
I
of
don't criticize these people.
some of these people that they're in power right now, say like the liberals, conservatives, NDP, none of them could back any solid patriot, beliefs, which to me doesn't make any sense why we would have these people running in our government if they don't, completely 100% do what's in the best interest of their country because they love it so much. If they're not supporting the Patriots and the Patriot movement, our military, veterans, retired or serving, if they don't have any respect at all for these people, they shouldn't be in government or running for government.
There's a lot of self-serving people out there. And I'll even put it one step forward, and I'll get hate for this, but I'm going to say it. I don't believe, and again, this is my own personal belief, but I don't believe that you should be allowed in our politics if you're not born and raised in Canada. There, I said it.
I would
Uh,
back that.
you know, yeah, well, you know what? Because the fact of the matter is, a true Canadian is, well, I can't say a true Canadian, but a Canadian that's got Canadian values totally entrenched in his entire being is a person born and raised in Canada. Now, if you want to continue our wonderful way of life in Canada, I honestly believe that we shouldn't allow any immigrants in our politics whatsoever. I don't care if you're black, white, orange, blue, or purple. It's not a cultural thing. So be careful if you're going to call me a racist because it's not a damn cultural thing. It's about Canadians looking after Canada. So
Exactly.
I don't care what color you are. If you were born and raised in Canada, you have Canadian values totally entrenched in your entire being. And those are the values that you're going to bring forth in government. And that's why I don't understand why we're letting, again, because Canadians are too accepting and so scared to be called racists,
Yeah.
that we're letting in any Tom, Dick, and Harry. We're letting people that weren't born and raised in this country get into our politics and try to change our way of life. And that's girls like Ikra Khalid. Came to Canada when she was 18 from Pakistan. She has Pakistani um, values and scruples entrenched in her being. That's why she's in Canada trying to impose M103, which is to quell Canadians from criticizing Islam. That's not a Canadian thing to do, try to quell Canadians. It's against our freedom of speech.
Yeah.
It's against our Charter of Rights. But yet, what are we doing? We've allowed this person to infiltrate our politics and now trying to govern Canadians with her values from
No, and
her.
that's exactly what's going on. And almost at any workplace, if you don't agree with a person of a different color or background, and for the most part, if you have a problem with someone, you're too scared to report the incident or problem because you're scared of being labeled a racist. Because people are so quick to pull that damn race card out. People are scared to say anything about it, and it's happening in our government as well. People are running in politics, and they're too scared to say anything bad about that guy because that guy isn't from here. And if he says anything bad about him, he's going to be labeled a racist.
Yeah, yeah, and it's unreal, but the immigrants and the minorities have more rights than Canadians born here. You can walk across the border illegally, breaking federal law, and you're going to get paid every month without a job. You're going to get a dental plan. You're going to get a drug benefit plan, things that I don't even have, but that I'm paying for, by the way. I'm paying for them to have that. So, if you're a Sikh, you can ride around on a motorcycle without wearing a helmet. So we're bending backwards to please minorities. Fact of the matter is, if you're a minority and you came to this country, I honestly believe 100% that you should abide by our laws 100%. I believe that if you don't want to abide by our laws, that you are free to leave and go back to where you came from. I mean, and again, don't call me a racist because this is not a racial thing. This is minority people coming to our country and trying to impose their beliefs and their way of life on us. When in Rome, you do as the Romans. Well, they're in Canada, so they should be doing as Canadians. And I don't care if it takes them 5 minutes to wear that turban and to take it off and put it on. If they want to ride a motorcycle, they should wear a helmet. Because I really don't want to see them get head injuries. And I don't want taxpayers to have to pay for them to then be put on our system under a pension and having to pay for care and wheelchairs and everything to take care of this person that now has brain injuries because he wouldn't listen to our laws.
No,
It's a
that's a
double
hard one to
negative.
wrap your head around. I mean, they're basically separating a group of people and making exceptions for one specific group of people.
Double standards.
I would like to see the actual legislature behind that law and see exactly what it says. And I mean, because you can't. It's not a religious thing, is it? It can't be, because if they were to make a law exceptions for one race or religion, um, I mean, that in itself is racist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I just read something here that is pissing me right off there. Someone just said, Kevin McKenzie just said that Faith Goldie's case was thrown out of court today. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I
She
did
was
hear that.
suing,
I
yeah,
did
she
hear
was
that. That's bad.
$50,000 court case.
Really bad.
Well, here's another elitist
This is what Trump
judge.
is putting his people in office. So this shit doesn't happen.
Yeah,
And
you
what
know,
are
like,
we doing? Not
yeah,
giving a mayoral candidate any advertising or letting her excellent written up legal claims against advertising companies for not giving her advertising space, because that would be illegal. Meddling with country's politics. I'm not sure the exact terminology, but that's illegal. She
yeah,
had a solid case against
yeah.
a media corporation, and she, by all means, should have won that case, and the judge threw it out.
Definitely a biased judge. Definitely a biased judge. Definitely an elitist judge that's
And the club,
on the agenda of the liberals, probably a liberal judge. Another one of, Trudeau's minions. These judges that wouldn't have at least heard that case. I mean, you're a minion, buddy. You're of the liberals' agenda. It's plain to
you're
see.
the club,
And
you're
they're
part
just
of the league.
quelling Faith Goldie by any means possible. And I'll tell you guys, share Faith Goldie's stuff out there. Share it, share it, share it. Anything that has Faith Goldie's name on it,
Yeah.
it's our duty to share it. We, as Canadian patriots, have to start promoting the good people that we need in our government.
Well,
Like Kevin J. Promote Kevin J. Share
yeah.
his stuff. Kevin J is a patriot.
Well,
And a
pretty
lot of
soon
people
they're
I
going
don't
to
like
shut
this and
them
don't like
down on
that.
Facebook. So, like you said, it's our job right now to do the very most we can. Even if you don't necessarily talk to some of the people you work with about politics, just mention some of their names, and they might end up mentioning it to someone else, and it travels. And if it's something good, it'll travel like wildfire. And I'm telling you, what's going on in Toronto and Mississauga, it has the potential to spread like wildfire, and that's what they're so scared of. That's why they won't let them talk and say how they feel on national television, because they're scared of the competition. They know if they wake up the masses with their message, all hell will break loose and they'll lose everything. It'll slowly fall down. We've already, like you said, got rid of the Liberals for the most part of Ontario and Quebec. I mean, it's gonna spread, and they're losing control.
That's encouraging. Yeah, that was definitely encouraging. People, I believe, are waking up. That's the silent majority there that spoke. I honestly believe that, and the silent majority can go either way. But I think in these instances, the silent majority spoke out very clearly that they're done with the Libs. Like the province of Ontario spoke loudly, and so did Quebec. Uh, Ed says we need to get some Lebanese and Christians and stuff join C3. You know what? I'm sure that on our page, Ed, we do have some. I know
I know
we have some
I
Muslim
got
guys. There's a few guys. I just, they haven't stepped up to become full members like ourselves, like yourself, Ed, and like Ryan, and like Roger, and Dan, and Bruno, and those guys. Like lots of people on our page, but for many different reasons, they haven't stepped up to become full members. And I'll tell you, if a guy says he's a full member, he may be on our page, but if he's not wearing one of these T-shirts, he's not a full active member. So
that's
there's a
right.
difference between members and active members.
Well, each group needs, I mean, to get funding and stuff. I mean, when we hold these rallies, for the most part, you need to buy permits and plan, and people need to be able to get out to these rallies and or buy gear. I'm not wearing my C3 shirt. I apologize, everyone, for the moment. I've
I
got
know
my
you
hat,
got a nice hat on there,
but
buddy.
yeah, I've got some shirts. So the way you show your support, uh, become a full member, pay your dues. It's an $80 one-time fee, right, Dan?
No, you know what, eh? Me and Roger, and we announced it in the chats. We're gonna actually put up a GoFundMe. I'm just having issues. It won't let me download it to my phone. I don't know if I'm blocked or what. I got to get one of my techie kids to help me out with that. But we're gonna put up a GoFundMe on our page. We're gonna push that GoFundMe, and we're hoping that Patriots will actually fund us in that respect, like you said, to help us get out to these rallies and to do things that they can't. So if you can't attend, at least help support us monetarily. So we don't have a membership fee anymore. You want to be a full active member, that means you need a T-shirt and you want to show up at rallies once in a while. All you got to pay for is the T-shirt and the shipping for that T-shirt, and you're considered a full active member because you have gear to show
Yeah.
up at an event. And that doesn't mean that you got to show up at a rally that we're hosting or that we're attending. That means that maybe you're going to go to a municipal town meeting. Maybe you're going to go to a provincial meeting. Maybe you're going to go to an outing with friends. Well, you wear your C3 shirt. It opens up the conversation.
Yeah.
It gets the conversation going, what you are, who you are, what you're about. And that's how we're going to get things done in this country, is to get the conversation going. So to become a full member, you need to purchase a shirt
Well,
and
that's
pay to
awesome.
get it shipped to you. So now, for as little as $30, because that's what the shirts, and that's our cost. We're not making any money on them. They're an expensive shirt because they're a long sleeve. They're very good material,
Yeah, they're
and they
nice
have
shirts.
one, two, three, four, and five prints to put on them. You know, so all those prints the shirt has to be handled. I think it's 7 times from out of the box, the printing, and then back into the box. So there's handling fees. So these shirts are $30, and believe it or not, that's a very good deal. These hats are like $15. We're gonna have some toques
Beanie.
coming out.
When Nay's got some beanies there he made up. Those
Yeah,
look
I'm gonna get some done too, actually. I
good.
wanted when they made the C3 a little different. I like this three, and I wanted to keep this basically just black and white. Our beanies in Ontario and every province is allowed their own design. We don't
Yeah,
have a problem with that. If anything, it shows the individuality of the
exactly.
provinces.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
yeah, ours is going to be an exact C3 made exactly like this on a black beanie type toque, and I'm going to go look into that next week to get those made up. And they're probably going to be 10, $15 too, plus shipping. So, we're going to start selling swag, but we're not making money on that.
Yeah, well, I
What we
encourage
get out of
people. I
that is
mean,
advertising.
you could make a little extra donation on top of there. I mean, if you
Sure.
want, I mean, you need to support some of these people. And what, I'd like to see is us possibly get a fund together for some of these people who are great patriots who are on, sharing a lot of our stuff and working with us and spreading the message out there and trying to do their best with what they can do and try and get a fund together for these people so they can come out with us. I mean, because some people have financial issues or whatever
Sure.
kind of holding them back, but it'd be nice to get some of these other people out here with us
Well,
that can't
you know,
necessarily make it.
if people help us financially, it puts us in a position to help others. It's as
Exactly.
simple as.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, I don't take any money for myself out of the group. I never have. I never will. I don't take any profit whatsoever. If anything, I'm in the hole big time because I've still
Yeah.
got a big inventory of shirts and decals and hats, what have you. So I'm still owed a lot of money. I got a lot of members that, it's sad to say, but oh, send me a shirt and I'll pay you next month. And then they quit. They keep the shirt and I never get paid.
Yeah.
A lot of
Whatever our
members, I
provincial
gave them
members
shirts
are
on
making
credit.
off
They
any
quit.
shirts or
I
you
never got paid.
yourself, I mean, it all goes back into it, right? So eventually,
Yeah.
you make a little extra money off a couple of shirts, someone makes a donation. Uh, it all goes back into the fund for more gear, permits, anything we might need for rallies. I mean, we got an excellent speaker system there, so now when we go to rallies and
Yeah,
get
you know
permits,
what? That we
we'll
got
be
to
heard.
reimburse. See, that's at Jamnisics. That's his. We got to reimburse him for that. I'd like the group to be able to have the funds to reimburse him for that unit. It's not fair that our members are putting out money to do things for Canadian patriots. I'm out, easily a couple $1,000. I pay most of the fuel when we go to rallies. I never get reimbursed for that. Even to go get these T-shirts, I just got a bunch of T-shirts for Alberta. I was looking at $50 in fuel. I got to travel to town to order them and pay for them, then travel back to go get them.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of the shirts I ordered aren't done. I got to go back again. You wouldn't believe the expense, and it chews at you little bits at a time. And
No.
and it's nobody's fault. I mean, I wanted to get this group going. I'm trying to get something going for Canada, and I'm trying to save the future for my kids. It's not all altruistic. I think of
Well,
our
that's what I'm saying.
children.
We've got so many great members, and a lot of our full members, the guys coming out to these rallies, for a lot of them and the individual people coming out with us, it's all out of pocket for them, right? They're not getting paid to go out and do this. So for some of us, it's costing us, a couple $100 a day to get out there and do some of this
Yeah,
stuff. Or,
yeah.
permits aren't necessarily cheap either. I mean,
Well, the permits, like our permit for Ottawa and that's free. The city will give you the permits for free. Let's not mislead anybody. The permits are free. Where the expense is traveling out there and paying for accommodations and fuel and what have you. That's where we're incurring most of our costs and other things, like a banner. You'll never get money back out of banners. Well, I've got two banners that I purchased. I can't sell them, so I'll never reimburse for that. I've got a microphone, the best one money could buy, 100 and something dollars. You don't get reimbursed for that. So there's a lot of things that even our logo. I paid for the C3 logo. There's no way of getting reimbursed for that. So I don't mind putting out money towards the group because it's a very worthy cause, and I feel good at night when I go to bed. I don't have any regrets with what I'm doing or what I'm trying to accomplish. So it's its own reward. But yes, we still do need funding so that we could do even more. I'd like to win that 60 million. That's Lotto Max. Okay,
maybe we get
if I
that
won that,
C3 thing going, C3 Lotto.
T-shirts would be
Buddy,
free.
that'd be funny,
Yeah, T-shirts are free, and I throw $100 to anybody that joins.
yeah.
You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, like people like Antifa, they get
Yeah,
a
well,
lot
Soros.
paid. They get arrested. All their legal fees are paid. They've got funds set up for these people. They almost encourage these people to go out and get arrested and create such a disturbance. Um, all their legal fees are paid for. I mean,
Bad publicity.
obviously they're not playing for the right team now, are they?
Yeah, that's the problem. And bad publicity is publicity. And, that's the really unfortunate thing is it seems that all these super rich people, none of them are willing to get on the right side. They're all on the wrong side of the fence and fighting to stay there and accomplish it. And they have the money. Imagine if we had a guy like Soros on our side. Imagine if we had a guy like even our Facebook dude there,
Mark
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg, yeah.
Zuckerberg. Even if we had that guy on our side, imagine how we'd accomplish things. It's sad. It's sad, but you know why we're fighting back? Because we are the oppressed, we are the persecuted, and we are the ones that stand the most to lose. So we're fighting back. But like if you're super rich, you got nothing to fight about. You're comfortable, and you like where things are going. So that's another sad reality of the movement is that
Well,
it's the people without the means that are resisting.
that's another good reason why we should be supporting our patriots and the people putting money out of pocket, family, people with family, and hardworking people putting everything on the line, getting out there, um, showing their support. That dedication is that's a true patriot. People who get out there and save towards to get out to these events. They save for months. Some people save for a whole year just to attend one rally. You know,
Yeah,
those are the people we should be really commending and showing our respect to those people
yeah.
because they've saved up everything they can to get out there and show their support for their country, the love of their country. I mean,
And
they
that's
put everything on the line. Some of these people even get money from the government. Imagine if the government cut them off for such a thing. And, the time is coming where people are so scared to get out there because it is coming. I mean, they're going to cut, they could cut people off welfare because of their, point of views or
Political
way.
beliefs, yeah.
For sure they could. It's
Yeah,
coming.
they
It's
could.
the whole part of Sharia law,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely. There could be repercussions coming in the future. That's why, while we're free, it's time to stand up and preserve that freedom, because once we've lost it, we'll never get it back. And it's so important to have freedom of speech and freedom of expression and I mean, without boundaries. I said it a couple of weeks ago, the LGBTQ trying to push their agenda on people walking around naked in a parade. I'm not for that.
well, that's why
Like
I love Doug Ford.
there's a thing called freedom of
I voted
expression, and there's another
conservative.
thing called decency. Pardon me?
I voted conservative there when we had the provincial election.
Yeah, me too.
Doug got in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I voted conservative. They were gonna get rid of the sex ed curriculum and scrap that, and they did.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thank Doug Ford for that immensely. I mean, my 6-year-old daughter, I couldn't believe it. I
yeah.
mean, that's complete indoctrination. Um, they're manipulating our children at such an early age too. It's unreal. And you've got
No place
kids
in primary school.
fighting and protesting to get it back. They don't even know what they're protesting for. They're just out there to protest.
Yeah, yeah.
It's unreal. I mean, it's almost
Yeah.
sickening. And some of the teachers pushing to get it back, like that's unreal.
Well, these
That is
are these people that have been raised to be super liberal, super accepting of everything. There's boundaries, I believe, in acceptance. The word acceptance doesn't, I think, believe that you have to have no boundaries and that you have to just accept everything.
Hmm.
I accept gays and trans and bis and lesbians. I accept that. What I don't accept is them walking down the street naked to try to push this agenda. Some of these people committing, simulating sexual acts on the street in front of children. That's where I draw the line. It's like, okay, folks, we accept you. We have no problems whatsoever with you. But you're walking down the streets naked, we have a problem with.
Yeah.
Why do they have to take what could be a very respectable, normal display of their sexuality by having a parade? But why push it to the boundaries of it being explicit and indecent?
Yeah.
Why do that? What's wrong with these people? And what's wrong with people that accept this? What's wrong with people that bring their kids to see this? And what's wrong with the police that don't arrest some of what these people,
Indecent
some of
exposure.
these
I thought
people
that
for
was a
what they're
ticket
doing?
no matter what. I mean, I've only been seeing this stuff for about a year or so, but I mean, yeah, that's indecent exposure. That was a ticket, right? I thought that was a thing. I guess when you're parading your schlong around downtown Toronto, that's not indecent exposure.
It
Unless
would
you're
be,
doing
it
it for
would
a
be
parade,
unless
right?
you're with but 10 other people doing it and you're claiming LGBTQ status and you're having a demonstration, then it's okay. That's
Well,
where there's problems with the system is broken. you
there
know?
was a guy who did a video there at one of those rallies. I believe it was in Toronto. I can't remember the guy who did it, but he went and asked the people, just walking down the streets, no one involved in the parade or whatever, but just the people on the sidelines watching. And he says, "Do you think there's anything wrong with this? What these people are doing here?" Um, there was like 100 people he went through, and only one person said, "Yeah, I think there's something wrong here." And he had to look twice and look around and make sure no one was fucking listening. And he says, "Yeah, there's definitely something wrong here."
So afraid of being judged,
And
you
Buddy
know.
says, you're the only person out of anyone I've interviewed today to say that there's something wrong. He's like, thank you for being the only other sane person on this street today. He says, thank you.
There's probably a lot of sane people, but they're chickens.
Yep.
For fear of being exposed as a hater,
Evil.
or
Yeah.
oh, you don't support the LGBTQ. I guess if you criticize them walking down the street naked, that means you don't support them. That's where things have gone. The pendulum has swung way too far to the left, where you have to accept these things, and if you criticize them, you're a bigot, you're a
How do
racist, you're
you
a
dance
hater.
around with children at a parade like that and not have them taken away by family and children's services? That
I know,
blows my mind.
I know.
That's
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
beyond the abuse, and that's abuse, and you're promoting it in front of hundreds of people, and they're not saying anything about it. But yet, people are having their children taken away for the
Yeah,
stupidest shit, and you've got people, you know, parading children around like this, half naked, beside naked men and women. It blows my mind. It doesn't. Like, that's unreal.
I know, I know. Just off topic a little bit. Tomorrow, marijuana becomes legal in Canada.
Yeah.
There's another hot topic.
Tomorrow, Canada turns over a new leaf.
Yeah, tomorrow Canada turns over a new leaf, a new bud. I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting to see the news tomorrow, because Canada's going to light up tomorrow. I know that it's going to be, again, there's always these extremists. There's going to be people smoking weed in front of City Hall, in front of the police stations. Believe me. I'll tell you, if we could get as many people on board to get rid of this damn government as what we can get on board smoking weed, we we'd win this movement in no time at all.
Yeah, I mean it.
Yeah, and don't mark me wrong, folks. I have absolutely nothing to say bad against the weed consumption. I really don't. I'm a federal exemptee myself. I have been for years, and I've got a thing called degenerative spine disease, and yet I function at a job where I lift a lot of things daily. I go to work every day. I'm able to function 100%, and it's with the help of cannabis. So I've always been a big advocate for it. I
Well, that's
believe
what
in
it's all
it.
about: getting people back to work, doing things they love.
And
If
and
it's
nothing
cannabis
wrong.
for that, there's nothing wrong with it.
And nothing wrong with enjoying it recreationally either, I'll say, because if I had to pick, I would make alcohol illegal before I would make marijuana illegal. I
Yeah,
think alcohol presents a much bigger problem to society. It costs taxpayers way more money, all the things and all the regulations and all the things we've had to implement because of the legalization of alcohol. So if I was to make something illegal, and if there's something that I don't condone, is alcohol. I believe in having a social drink, but people that are out there driving dangerously and endangering other people's lives because of the consumption of alcohol in high amounts. We've seen people not only killed by accidents in cars, but actually people playing with guns and stuff, shooting others, and just reckless behavior that puts many at risk. And yet, this thing is illegal. And another thing I'd like to mention is, let's not forget that this government that is legalizing marijuana tomorrow is the same government that was putting people in jail for selling marijuana, for consuming marijuana. This is the same government
Treating
that's
people with marijuana, treating people with, mental
yeah,
illness,
and spreading
saving people's
propaganda that it
lives.
was a
Rick Simpson went to
gateway
jail
drug.
several times.
Yeah, this the same government said this was a gateway drug, and then it led to heavier drugs, and it really caused a society problem. There's that same government that put dealers in jail. Well, tomorrow they become your dealer. So if you've never seen an example of self-serving type governing, this is it.
I wonder
This
how the
government
cartels are going
will
to feel
do
about this.
anything
I mean,
for
I
money
don't think we're
and to
getting
control this
this
people.
imported in here. I know we're major producers of it too, but that's got to be pissing off some of these drug cartels for sure. I mean, that's
Well,
meddling
you know
with
what?
the
I
government.
don't think black market's going to go away. The
No,
prices that the government wants to sell this stuff at is going to encourage the black market to keep going because I think they can outprice the government.
for sure.
I think the government will produce some lower quality stuff. There's going to be a lot, and other things too, is how are people going to be treated for driving when they're medical users? If you're a medical marijuana user and you're driving, I mean, it's no worse than if you took your medication in the morning and went to work. I think if you cause a problem like an injury or an accident, well, then you could be charged or something. But until I don't believe in where our society has gone, where we punish people in case they do something wrong, like
Hmm.
these ride programs where I've seen good people because they blew a little bit over .08. A guy that can handle 2 or 3 beers and drive quite safely has lost his job, lost his family, has put himself in the hole to fight and pay the fines for this when he did nothing wrong. He was pulled over at a ride program. He blew a little bit over, and now we have just changed this man's way of life. We are punishing people before they do something wrong. That's like spanking your child in case he breaks that glass or something that he's holding. I don't like the way our society's gone, that we're punishing people. I believe that if you're caught drinking and driving and you caused an accident or an injury or destruction of public property, that you should be very heavily charged and fined. Then you are being punished for having committed
Yeah.
something wrong. You're not being punished in case you've done something wrong. You're
But I mean, if
being
you're
punished
blowing way over the limit
because you
with the
did
ride
something wrong. And
program,
then the punishment should be so hefty that people would think twice before driving. But this ride program thing, this is just to keep government, lawyers, and judges and all that. That's just to keep the system rolling, what I believe.
well, yeah, it'll be interesting in the next couple of weeks here too, because a lot of that, I would assume, money that they're going to make, which is going to be billions in the first couple months for sure. I mean, it's most certainly going to make them millions in the first week. I wonder what this is going to do for our economy and where those tax dollars are going to go. Are
Mhm.
those going towards the next refugees coming in
Yeah,
because we
no, they're
just
going to
signed up
go
with the
overseas.
UN? Is all that
They're,
money going to the United Nations now that we just signed all
yeah,
that shit?
going to the Clinton Foundation, it's going to the United Nations, and it's going to countries that hate us. That's
Yeah,
who's going to get
it's
that
the
money.
other gangsters and drug dealers
Canadians
in the
will not
world.
benefit.
They're going to split it up between themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Otherwise,
Ed
we wouldn't be allowed to do
asked,
business.
when's our next event? Ed, we just haven't thought of anything to come up with. If there's an event coming up in Toronto or something in the near future, I'm all ears. We can
There's
maybe set up
November
and go to it.
10th, I think Pegida is holding another rally, Toronto. So that
Okay,
might
we
be
could
something to
maybe
go, get some members out there for sure.
We all, Julie McNamara. We only have we have Lance BP, which is the British Columbia president of that province. He's so we have a president out there, and he is looking to recruit people. If you want to join, Julie, you can contact me. I'll hook you up with Lance BP, and you can be one of the founding members of BC. I met you. I know Julie's awesome patriot. You want a leadership role, Julie? You got it. Because anybody gets on a plane from BC to fly to
Yeah,
uh,
respect,
Ottawa to
major
come to a
respect.
rally, that's a friggin' patriot to me. And I'll tell you, you want to join C3, you want to get a leadership role, you get a hold of me, and we'll make it happen. Because I'll tell you, you're sure deserving of it. So maybe you'd like to get on the ground floor and get things rocking out there with Lance BP. Ryan, we've been on for over an hour, buddy. An hour and
I
a half
think we
almost.
covered everything we needed to, and
Yeah.
it's been
Oh,
great.
and I just got a message. My phone's dying. So in
Yeah,
case we go
here,
bloop.
I should be at like 4% maybe. But yeah, it's been great talking with you guys, and
Yeah,
thanks to everybody for watching. And like Dan was saying, Ontario is pretty active at the moment, but we would like to get some
Alberta
more
too.
movement going in all the other provinces as well. So if anyone's interested in starting to get involved or participating or interested in any leadership roles, just contact us. We'll put you in touch with the people to do so, and we'll get the ball rolling in other provinces here, and hopefully next year. I'm not sure, but we'll definitely come up with an event, and we'll get all these provinces together, and we'll hold a rally hopefully next
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
sometime in the summer.
yeah. Yeah, as we grow, we might be able to do, like, I'm going to announce a date also. I want to do another July rally in Ottawa. So I'm
Yeah,
going to announce the date shortly. I don't know when, but I want to pick an appropriate date. But that's coming. We're going to do another Ottawa rally. It's our last kick before the election. So I believe this rally will be very important. So watch for the July sometime 2019 rally on Capitol Hill in Ottawa. We're going to be hosting it again. It's coming. Last one before elections. It's important.
yeah,
So start saving your money and make your way out there.
that's great. That's great. Yeah, I definitely like to do another one of those for sure. Parliament Hill was a good location. A lot of people heard us. We got quite a bit of coverage in the first day, and second day wasn't such a big turnout, but the first day we went there, we had must have been close to 50,000 people watching at the end of that night. So I mean, we
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
potentially woke up, hundreds of people that day.
And we, we made the newspapers coast to coast. I even made the newspaper here in Sudbury. It was Sudbury, Ottawa, Toronto, BC, Calgary, Edmonton. All the Suns actually wrote up an article on that event. So even though the event itself didn't have a big attendance, its reach uh, was enormous. You
Yeah,
know what? It was like 100 degrees that weekend. It was one of the hottest weekends of the summer. So many were discouraged, and we had a constant flow of comers and goers all day. People coming in and
a
saying, Dan,
busy
it's
day
too
for
hot.
Parliament.
I'm only going to stay 10 minutes, listen to a couple speeches, and I'm out of here. And that happened all day. So if everybody would have been there all at once, there might have been 3, 4, 500 people there. But I think all at once we hit 100, 150 people at best. But I know that the traffic was way heavier than
Yeah.
what was represented in
Oh yeah.
one single time. Yeah. So thanks again for coming on. That's Dunn, Ryan Mclean, he goes by. Follow him on Facebook. He's our Canadian Combat Coalition C3 Vice President for Ontario, well-deserving, hard-working young man, a great patriot, and a fantastic asset to C3. And we are lucky to have him with us. And I really enjoy spending time with the guy when we get together. So with that said, thanks again, Ryan. You have
You,
a great night. Looking forward to seeing you again face to face and shaking your hand, my friend.
you too. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.
Take care, Patriots.